In a series of tumultuous events that reshaped the emotional and legal landscape of Port Charles, a shocking chain reaction was set in motion by the most unexpected of romantic entanglements. When Nina Reeves, a figure often associated with scandal and controversy, was seen publicly dating Drew Cain, it ignited a firestorm that quickly spiraled beyond personal relationships and erupted into a battle for family, truth, and control. The romance between Nina and Drew seemed to materialize suddenly but was likely the culmination of months of secret meetings and whispered conversations behind closed doors. Port Charles residents were initially stunned, then skeptical, wondering what could have drawn Nina, a woman already estranged from her daughter Willow, and Drew, a man once considered a stabilizing force in the Corinthos circle, into such a public and defiant courtship. Though both parties initially dismissed the speculation, their repeated appearances together, the increasingly affectionate body language, and Drew's uncharacteristic silence on the matter only fueled the flames. In a town where perception is everything, the visual of Drew walking hand in hand with the woman who once tried to destroy the life of his former partner's family sent a clear and cutting message. Alliances had shifted, and loyalty was officially in question. Willow, who had once counted on Drew as a close confidant during her most vulnerable times, felt the betrayal on multiple levels. Having just emerged from a grueling health crisis and struggling to maintain a sense of normalcy for her children, she viewed Drew's public entanglement with Nina not only as a romantic affront but as a personal and psychological ambush. For a brief period, Willow attempted to maintain a neutral stance, focusing on her recovery and her responsibilities as a mother. However, as Drew grew increasingly enmeshed in Nina's world, often siding with her in public disputes and standing silently by as Nina made veiled attacks against the Corinthos family, Willow's patience disintegrated. Their final confrontation was as brutal as it was heartbreaking. Willow confronted Drew with a barrage of accusations, not just about his relationship with Nina, but about the values he had abandoned and the pain he had inflicted upon those who once trusted him implicitly. Drew, for his part, appeared conflicted but unwilling to walk back his choices. The conversation ended with Willow severing all ties with him, not just as a friend or confidant, but as a man she had once considered part of her extended family. With that decision, a door was closed permanently. The fallout from Drew and Nina's affair extended well beyond the emotional wounds it inflicted. Michael Corinthos, long at odds with both Nina and Drew over their respective betrayals, found himself at the center of a growing custody debate. The question looming over Port Charles courtrooms wasn't just who would raise Wiley and Amelia, it was who could be trusted to protect them from the toxic alliances and shifting loyalties that now characterized their world. As the custody battle unfolded, the courtroom became a crucible for unresolved pain and long-simmering resentment. Nina, already viewed by many as a manipulative and dangerous presence, was painted in harsh light by Michael's legal team. Her past actions, including her schemes to sabotage Carly, her manipulations regarding Sonny's amnesia, and her disregard for Willow's emotional well-being, were laid bare before the judge. Drew, once a respected figure whose loyalty was unquestioned, found himself dragged into the narrative as a man who had betrayed not just a friend but a moral code. His relationship with Nina became a symbol of the blurred lines between self-interest and betrayal, and it cast a shadow over his judgment as a potential co-guardian. Willow, meanwhile, presented a complicated figure in the trial. Though she was the biological mother of both children, her health struggles and emotional volatility were cited by opposing counsel as reasons to question her stability. Her break with Drew and her continued estrangement from Nina, her own biological mother, added to the impression that she was surrounded by chaos. Despite this, Willow made a compelling case for her love for her children. Her testimony was heartfelt, tearful, and honest. She didn't pretend to be perfect, but she expressed a profound and unwavering commitment to protecting Wiley and Amelia from the kinds of destructive dynamics that had already scarred their young lives. In the end, the judge's decision reflected both compassion and caution. Michael was awarded full custody of both Wiley and Amelia, a ruling that recognized his consistency, his stability, and his ability to shield the children from unnecessary turmoil. The court emphasized Michael's strong support network, Jason, Carly, Sonny, and his demonstrated ability to prioritize the children's needs above all else. However, the ruling also allowed for supervised visitation rights for Willow, acknowledging the critical bond between a mother and her children. The court stipulated that Willow's visitation rights would be reassessed periodically, with the possibility of expanded access should she demonstrate continued stability and a willingness to engage in family counseling. The decision was a bittersweet one. Michael emerged legally victorious, but the scars from the battle were evident. He had fought for his children, yes, but he had also lost a once-valued friendship with Drew and witnessed the further unraveling of Willow's emotional world. Willow, for her part, accepted the ruling with quiet dignity, vowing to rebuild her life in a way that would eventually earn her a larger role in her children's upbringing. As for Drew and Nina, their future remained uncertain. Though they had defied public judgment and familial backlash to be together, the cost of their relationship, estranged children, fractured friendships, and a permanently altered reputation, was higher than either had anticipated. In Port Charles, victories are rarely clean, and justice often comes wrapped in heartache. The custody battle was over, but the emotional consequences would ripple for months, if not years. And as the dust settled, one thing became clear: love, trust, and loyalty in this town are fragile commodities, easily broken, painfully earned, and never fully secure.